Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Ictrick Studios, and welcome back to another episode of Just Some Rambling. Got a little bit more to talk about than last week, so let's just hop into it. We'll of course start off with the Michigan game, Michigan at Penn State. Penn State won 28 to 21. Michigan got off to a slow start. They got down 21 to nothing early. The Shea Patterson interception that led to the score to go up 21 nothing was really bad. There was really no excuse for it. They did end up making a game of it, though. They drew within 7 and actually had a chance to tie at the end of the game, though the ball was dropped in the end zone, and then it was turnover on downs. They probably should have drawn up a better play or two in that, 4 downs they had right near the goal line. But this week was definitely better overall, the team effort. The offense still is horrible, but it's slightly improved. The John Gaddis experiment is still not really working. But it's much better than the previous teams we've seen come out on Saturday. We play Notre Dame next week. I am certainly more confident going into it than I was going into this last week, thinking about it. So I think we actually have a shot now if we can play like maybe a little bit of step up of what we played this week. All right. Anyways, on to the Bears game. In the Bears game, the Bears lost 36 to 25 against the New Orleans Saints. It was not a good game all around. The game started with a safety on a punt block. It was pretty much what I expected. I guess they probably gave up a little bit more points than I thought they would. But yeah, I expected to lose the game if you paid attention to my last 2 weeks of this. Matt Nagy was not good at the bye last year, not good at the bye this year. I think the Bears have lost 6 straight years out of the bye. So Bears are just not good out of the bye. The game was not as close as that score indicates. They scored two touchdowns late in garbage time. Next week we are playing the Chargers, should be an interesting matchup because lately both teams have been absolute garbage. So I feel like the Bears can maybe at least get a win, but once again it could go pretty much any way. Now I want to look into the other professional football league that was in the news this last week with the XFL. They had their interesting draft, which they split up, into a weird way. In the XFL, I am supporting the Tampa Bay Vipers. Uh, I know as a Bears fan you shouldn't like Mark Trestman, but I like Mark Trestman because he was the coach when the Alouettes were good. So that's kind of where my rooting interest comes from. The Alouette-hated quarterbacks, you had Landry Jones in Dallas, which was pretty much expected. DC, you had Cardale Jones, which is a good pickup for the league. Houston has Philip Walker, who I believe was a backup in Indianapolis for a while, or like on and off their practice squad. Uh, Los Angeles has Luis Perez, which most people know him probably from the AAF. New York has Matt McGloin, former Penn State quarterback. St. Louis has Jordan Tiamu from Ole Miss, and Tampa Bay has Aaron Murray from Georgia. Uh, if you look through the draft, you see lots of former AAF talent. You have like Rashad Ross, Larry Rose, Devion Smith. I am surprised that Johnny Manziel was not part of the draft pool. I don't know what's going on there. I knew they had the no arrest thingy, but I'm not sure how much that was followed because I don't know. I don't know the legal history of every person that was in the draft pool. Um, but once again, I was really surprised that he didn't in it because I would have expected him to go to Houston with June Jones. Anyways, overall, I think LA has the best, or the most talented roster. They would be my pick for the league championship if Luis Perez wasn't their quarterback and they had a slightly more experienced coach than Winston Moss, who's not really a head coach. He's been a positional coach his entire coaching career. So instead, I'm probably just going to stick with my original pick that I had in my head, which would be Bob Stoops in Dallas, because he's probably the best coach in the league, and he has a quarterback he knows how to work with. Anyway, the last topic I'm going to talk about is the El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I knew I could have talked about this last week because it came out last week, but I just didn't get really have the time to talk about it because I was had stuff coming up. So, you know. Oh well, I thought it was good. It was well shot, but overall it was kind of unnecessary. It didn't really add much. I feel like there was probably a little too much fan service. than needed to be. Um, Certainly, there was a lot more Todd than I was expecting. I didn't expect it to be as Todd-centric as it was, especially since that actor has put on a little bit of weight since his Breaking Bad days. So canonically, if you watch this like in a put everything in a time frame of from when things happened, I guess in chronological order, it'd be a little weird. But I guess if you haven't watched the show in a couple of years and watch it now, you probably wouldn't notice. Um, it was good, but I don't think as a series extension, it was not as good as Better Call Saul has been. But that probably might have to do with the kind of medium, especially a movie versus a show, and then the kind of things they are. Yeah, but anyways, let me know if you have any comments about anything I talked about in the comment section. If you liked the video, like the video. If you've not subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell. Please do so. Anyway, thank you for listening. Bye.